So welcome everybody. So I'm Marie Vandewalle from the UFZ in Germany, and together with Estelle Ballian and Angélique Béraud, we are here today to introduce you to a new project which is called BiodiversityKnowledge. It's a European FP7 project, and the session today that we are organizing is called Networking the Knowledge on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services in Europe. So the main idea today is to get your feedback and get feedback from the community of biodiversity to our prototype. So we would like to have as much as information from you of what you think about our work. But first of all, the talk overview, the presentation overview. So first of all, I will give a brief introduction to the context to our project, and then we will go through the project and the objectives, and then we will discover the prototype all together, and hopefully by the end of my talk I will raise enough interest for you to get involved, not only today, but also there is many other ways to get involved in our project. So there are more seats there. Yeah.
I was looking for power, sorry.
Okay. So first of all, the context. So of course the context of our project is biodiversity depletion, and more important, our will/necessity to counteract this loss. I'm not going to detail too much because I guess if you are here you know much more than I do. So basically what is at stake is of course the biodiversity, what brings biodiversity to us, in other words, the ecosystem services. And so if we know what is at stake, why is biodiversity still being lost as fast as ever, and why have we made little headway in reducing the pressures on species, habitats, and ecosystem? For at this stage, we can actually wonder several questions. First, is it a lack of knowledge? Do we not know enough on biodiversity to be able to counteract it? Which in some area it might be the truth, but in some other not. So what is lacking for implementing? Maybe there is simply a lack of adequate measure. Maybe we don't feed enough with our knowledge towards the decision and making and policy makers. Maybe they don't have enough. Or maybe another question is the tool. Maybe we don't use the right tool to communicate our knowledge. So all these questions are of course legitimate, and EPBLS have summarized the problem by saying that much of the available science and experience is not being effectively used, and that interfaces between science and policy must be significantly improved. So what is biodiversity knowledge bringing in this context? Biodiversity knowledge main aim is to better link our biodiversity and ecosystem services knowledge landscape, and also together with the biodiversity governance across Europe. To make a simple analogy, you have heard all this morning about IPBES, which is the Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, which has been launched in December last year. And the main aim of IPBES is to ensure that the best available science is made available to governments and other decision makers. Basically, we take this general aim, and if we remove science by knowledge, because we believe that scientists don't have all the knowledge on biodiversity, the knowledge from practitioners or from local people are also important. And if we add, in Europe, as our project is mainly working with European issue, then we obtain also the aim of our project. So basically, we would like to feed our result into the possible European IPBES, depending, of course, on the consultation which is going on right now. Behind biodiversity knowledge, there is a FP7 project, which is about developing a knowledge network for European expertise on biodiversity and ecosystem services to inform policy making and economic sectors. I will give you a brief introduction to the consortium. So It's not a research per se project, but it's a coordination action project. It has started officially in November, but practically actually in April. And it is coordinated by the UFZ, and it's a consortium of 18 institutions, which you see here, abroad and very huge range of Europe. And it's about 40 experts in biodiversity and ecosystem services and policy, which are involved in. And so to remind you, the main KNOW or Biodiversity Knowledge project aim, is to develop and test a prototype of network of knowledge to inform policy making and economic actors in the field of biodiversity and ecosystem services. But first of all, what is a network of knowledge? A network of knowledge as a concept has been arose through a PBRS meeting and then in a concept note published in 2009. And it's supposed to bring together existing organization and processes in a broad and flexible way. And the main aim is, of course, to improve the science policy interface. So I will present you shortly the prototype that our project came up with. So it's a first draft, and we already struggle and have many questions. And today we are all here to discuss and try to improve it. So first of all, what do we understand by knowledge on biodiversity and ecosystem services? So first we will need to differentiate the knowledge from what is data and information. Knowledge has to be a thought processed. And we understand that knowledge is all kind of processed information. Knowledge on biodiversity and ecosystem services is all kind of processed information needed for sustainable management of biodiversity and ecosystem services. It includes scientific knowledge, but also practitioner knowledge and traditional knowledge. So I would like to introduce you to the possible actors of this prototype. So there will be first the knowledge holders. Yeah. So it's basically any people or institution that have knowledge on biodiversity. The example of, for example, the scientists, the practitioners, NGOs, indigenous and local people, and so on. On the other side, there are the knowledge users, of course, which are any people or institutions that request knowledge to improve the management on biodiversity. For example, the DGs, the ministries, or again, NGOs and so on, or private sectors. And to be able to make the whole things working, we will need an interface, a knowledge interface, we call the Biodiversity Knowledge NOC, with a coordinating body and the day-to-day business treated by Secretariat. So the prototype go through 6 steps. There will be first a request, followed by a dialogue, a planning. We will conduct what we've decided, and we'll finalize and closing and follow-up, and we will go through each steps. First, a request. So the clients will complete a request form, maybe on internet, we don't know, explaining what question they have and give as much as background as possible. And this will be treated by the coordination body. And according some criteria that we don't have a full criteria right now, we're discussing what kind of criteria we could use. The NOC body will either accept or reject the request. And for example, the main challenge here is the set of criteria, for example, and we could think of the relevance. Will we accept only European issue, or another criteria can be the financial cost. Then we go to a dialogue phase, where the NOC body will gather the clients together with some expert in the question, and together they will refine the questions. And maybe the question is too complicated, and the expert realize that it's not possible because we will need to cut the question into several questions. And together they will come up with an agreement on the request. And the challenge here, of course, will be to ensure a mutual understanding of clients and knowledge holders on the issue. The next step will be planning, of course. So once the request has been accepted and the question has been refined, we will need to plan how to further how we will plan how to answer the questions, basically. And for this, the NOC body and the first experts, people who have been involved, will decide on select some expert, which will become the working group for this specific question. And of course, here the main challenge will be the selection of experts, how to select experts and the methodological approaches. Of course, we will go through a conducting phase next. So how to assess the knowledge. There will be 3 kind of approaches that I will not detail today because it's a bit too complicated for the 2 hours we have. But basically, we have thought about going through an expert-based, adaptive-based management, and evidence-based. And of course, here the main challenge will be to keeping a timeline, and the most important, ensuring transparency and the credibility of the knowledge. And then finalizing, so once the knowledge has been assessed, it will be reviewed first by stakeholders to see if they have forgotten anything. And once they have agreed on the results, the report will be passed through a peer reviewers. And so the main challenge will be, of course, main challenge will be the feedback with stakeholders and clients, and the acknowledgement of the contribution, the people who are contributing with their knowledge. So further steps will be, of course, to develop the NOC prototype. We will test this prototype with 3 different questions. We will see if we can answer those questions. The question will be in marine biodiversity, in agriculture, and in conservation biology. And what we are doing right now, we have started a broad consultation for feedback. And so here today is our first time. So it will not be the last time, but we will get better and better, and especially on presenting, for example. And so we are gonna ask you right now to get involved today. But beyond today, you can also get more information on our website. Within a month, we will upload the prototype with a description of each slide. And there will be a way for you to give us feedback through a form. So that's a way to see the progress as well of our prototype. And you can also register to our newsletter at BiodiversityKnowledge.eu to have more information. The first newsletter will come like end of October. And of course you can participate like you did today, and we will be present at different conferences. So thank you for your attention, and Estelle will explain us the following.